Hello there, and welcome. It's so good to have you here with me today. Have you ever had that feeling? Maybe after a long day of being on your feet, or when you sit down to rest, where your legs just feel a bit heavy, a little less comfortable than they used to. Or perhaps you've noticed small changes in your feet or lower legs, things you weren't quite sure about, and you just told yourself, "Oh, it's probably just part of getting older." Our legs, even though they're at the bottom, play such an incredibly important role. They support our entire body, take us everywhere we want to go. But precisely because they're the furthest from our heart, sometimes they're the first place to speak up when our body's blood circulation system starts to run into a bit of trouble. The thing is, these warnings are often very quiet at first, very easy to miss, especially as we navigate life beyond 60 or 70, when small bodily changes can seem more familiar. Good blood circulation is like a river of life, nourishing every part of our body. When this flow is hindered, especially in our lower limbs, like our legs, it doesn't just cause local discomfort. It can also be an early warning sign for much more serious health issues, such as the risk of blocked blood vessels or even a stroke, things none of us ever want to face. That's why, in today's video, we're going to explore a very important topic together: 3 leg signs that your blood circulation is in danger. Many seniors ignore these. These are signs that so many of us older adults might unintentionally overlook, but recognizing them early can truly be a matter of life and death. The goal of this video isn't to make you worry, but to equip you with more knowledge, to help us become more observant of our own health so we can take timely action and protect ourselves. We'll look at each sign carefully, understand why it appears, and what it might be warning us about. So, the very first sign that we need to pay special attention to, a sign that can appear gradually and sometimes only fleetingly, is a feeling of numbness, tingling, or weakness in your legs, especially when you're resting or at night. Have you ever been sitting watching TV, or perhaps getting ready for bed, and suddenly you feel that pins and needles sensation in one or both of your legs? Or maybe that numb feeling, like when you've sat on your leg for too long, but this time it appears for no clear reason. Sometimes it might just be a light, passing tingle that you don't pay much attention to. But if this sensation repeats itself or becomes more frequent, then it could be a significant signal from your circulatory system. Why does this happen? When blood circulation to the legs is reduced, the nerves in your legs don't receive enough oxygen and nutrients to function normally. Just like a plant that isn't watered enough, these nerves start to react. Numbness and tingling are some of the ways they sound the alarm that something isn't right. In medical terms, this sensation is sometimes called paresthesia. What's noteworthy is that this feeling often becomes more pronounced when we're resting, for example, when sitting for a long time or lying down to sleep. The reason is that when we're moving, our contracting muscles help to pump blood and aid circulation. But when we rest, especially in a lying position, this supportive effect diminishes. If the blood vessels are already narrowed or have issues, the amount of blood reaching the legs will be even less, making symptoms like numbness and tingling more apparent. Some people might also feel a weakness in their legs, finding it harder to stand up or walk after a period of rest. Many people often mistake these sensations for normal muscle fatigue due to age or from standing or sitting for too long. And it's true, sometimes that's all it is. However, the difference lies in the nature and frequency. If you find that this numbness or tingling occurs regularly, isn't directly related to recent overexertion or sitting in an uncomfortable position for too long, or if it's accompanied by leg weakness, then it's time to listen to your body more carefully. Ignoring these initial signs can lead to more serious consequences. If the lack of blood supply persists, the nerves can suffer permanent damage, leading to chronic numbness, loss of sensation in the legs, and an increased risk of injury without realizing it. And more importantly, as mentioned, this could be a sign that larger blood vessels in your body are also having problems, increasing the risk of blockages elsewhere, including in the heart and brain. That's why recognizing early feelings of unexplained numbness, tingling, or leg weakness is an incredibly important first step so we can proactively take care of our circulatory health. So, we've just talked about the first important sign in your legs that could indicate a problem with your blood circulation, which is that feeling of numbness, tingling, or weakness, especially when you're resting. The key takeaway is that we shouldn't casually dismiss these seemingly minor sensations, particularly if they happen often and without a clear cause. Now let's move on to a second sign, one that perhaps many of you have experienced or seen in others, and that is a change in skin color in your legs or feet, and an unusual coldness in this area. Take a moment to notice. Does the skin on your lower legs, ankles, or feet sometimes look paler than usual? Or, conversely, does it ever take on a slightly bluish or purplish tint, especially if you've been sitting for a while or when the weather is a bit chilly? Sometimes this color change might not be very obvious, just a subtle difference compared to the skin color in other parts of your body. But if you find that the skin on your legs frequently looks a bit lifeless, not as rosy as it used to be, then that could be a signal worth noting. Along with this change in color, another sensation often goes hand in hand, and that's your legs or feet feeling noticeably colder than the rest of your body, even when you're in a warm environment or wearing socks. Maybe you touch your feet and feel that coldness, or a family member touches them and comments on how cold your feet are. This cold sensation might not be constant, but if it happens a lot, especially if one leg feels colder than the other, that's a sign you shouldn't take lightly. So, why would poor circulation cause these changes? It's quite straightforward. Our blood doesn't just carry oxygen and nutrients to nourish our cells, it also carries warmth. When blood flow to the legs is reduced because the blood vessels have narrowed or become partially blocked, less warm blood reaches that area. As a result, the skin on your legs can become paler due to the lack of blood supply, and the temperature in your legs will also drop, causing that cold feeling. If the lack of blood becomes more severe, the skin can turn a bluish or purplish color due to the lack of oxygen. These changes in color and temperature are often most noticeable at the tips of your toes, as those are the furthest points in your circulatory system. You might see that your toenails look whitish or a bit purplish, and they feel very cold to the touch. Another thing to look out for is that this color change might become more pronounced when you elevate your legs. When your legs are raised, it's even harder for blood to flow down if the blood vessels are already compromised, causing the skin to become even paler. Conversely, when you lower your legs, the skin might turn an unusually ruddy or reddish color as blood rushes down suddenly through damaged vessels. This phenomenon is known as rubor on dependency. Additionally, you might also notice that hair growth on your legs is slower, or you're losing more hair in areas where the skin color has changed or feels cold. Your toenails might also become brittle, break more easily, or grow more slowly than usual. These are all signs indicating that the area isn't receiving enough nourishment due to poor circulation. It's easy to mistake skin color changes or frequently cold feet for a natural reaction to cold weather, or simply as having cold blood, as some people jokingly say. However, if these things happen regularly, don't depend much on the environmental temperature, or if it only happens in one leg, or if it's accompanied by other signs like numbness, then it truly is a warning from your circulatory system that you need to heed. Ignoring these signs can worsen the lack of blood flow in your legs, increasing the risk of infections, hard-to-heal leg ulcers, and of course, it also reflects a potential underlying risk to your cardiovascular and cerebrovascular health. So, we've now covered two important signs in your legs that can warn of circulation problems. First, feelings of numbness, tingling, or leg weakness. Second, changes in skin color and unusual coldness in the legs. Both of these indicate that the life-giving blood flow nourishing our legs is facing certain obstacles. Now let's explore the third sign, one that can cause a lot of discomfort and directly affect your ability to get around in your daily life. This is the phenomenon of cramping in your calves, thighs, or hips when walking or exercising, with the pain subsiding when you rest. Have you ever been walking, maybe just a short distance around the house or to the store, and suddenly you feel a cramping pain, like a Charlie horse, in your calf, or perhaps your thigh, or even your hip area? This pain might come on gradually or very quickly, forcing you to stop, unable to continue walking. And a distinctive feature is that when you stop and rest for a bit, maybe just a few minutes, the pain eases or disappears completely, allowing you to walk again. But then, after walking a little further, the pain might return. This phenomenon has a medical term: claudication. It's a very typical sign of peripheral artery disease, PAD, a condition where the arteries carrying blood to your legs become narrowed due to the buildup of plaque, which is a fatty substance. Let's imagine for a moment. When we walk or exercise, the muscles in our legs need more oxygen and energy than when we're resting. Our heart has to pump blood faster to meet this demand. However, if the arteries in our legs are narrowed, the amount of oxygen-rich blood that can reach the muscles is insufficient. It's like a clogged pipe. Even if the pump works harder, the amount of water flowing through is restricted. When the muscles don't get enough oxygen to function, they start to protest by causing pain, cramping, or that Charlie horse feeling. That's claudication pain. When we stop and rest, the muscles' demand for oxygen decreases, and the limited blood flow that can still get through the narrowed area is temporarily enough to supply the muscles at rest. That's why the pain subsides. But when we start moving again, the oxygen demand increases, and the pain reappears. The distance you can walk before the pain starts is often fairly consistent, and it might get shorter if the condition worsens. Many people often confuse this claudication pain with common joint pain from arthritis or degenerative joint disease. However, there are some key differences. Pain from arthritis often appears as soon as you start moving, maybe accompanied by swelling, warmth, or redness in the joint, and usually doesn't ease quickly with rest. Claudication pain, on the other hand, typically occurs after a certain amount of walking, isn't directly related to the joint, but is a cramping or aching feeling in the muscle, and it significantly improves when you stop and rest. The severity of claudication can vary from person to person. Some might only feel a slight discomfort or heaviness in their legs, but others might experience intense pain that prevents them from walking even a few steps. The location of the pain can also give us clues about which artery segment might be narrowed. For example, if the pain is in your calf, the artery in your thigh or behind your knee might be affected. If the pain is in your thigh, or hip, the damage might be in larger arteries in your pelvis. The appearance of claudication is a very clear sign that blood circulation in your legs is in danger. It not only affects your quality of life by limiting your ability to walk and move around, but it's also a strong warning of the risk of other serious cardiovascular diseases. Because if plaque has formed in the arteries in your legs, it's very likely that it's also forming in the coronary arteries supplying your heart, or the carotid arteries supplying blood to your brain, increasing the risk of a heart attack or stroke. So, as we were saying, the appearance of those cramping pains in your legs when you walk, which then ease up with rest, what we call claudication, is a signal you just can't ignore. It means the muscles in your legs are essentially crying out because they're not getting enough blood and oxygen due to narrowed arteries. This is one of the clearest signs of peripheral artery disease, a condition closely linked to our overall heart health. Please don't ever just dismiss it as leg pain from old age, folks. Recognizing and addressing this issue early not only helps improve your mobility, but also helps us prevent more dangerous complications down the line. So, we've now walked through 3 important signs in your legs that can warn us that our blood circulation system might be facing some hidden troubles. Let's quickly recap them. First, that feeling of numbness, tingling, or weakness in the legs, especially when resting. Second, changes in skin color in your legs, the skin becoming pale or bluish-purple, accompanied by an unusual coldness. And finally, those cramping pains in your calves, thighs, or hips when you walk, which get better with rest, also known as claudication. You see, our bodies are truly amazing. They always have their own ways of letting us know when something isn't quite right. Our legs, though just a part of our body, can reflect so much about our overall health, especially the health of our cardiovascular system. Impaired blood circulation doesn't just cause discomfort in the legs. It's also an early warning for bigger risks, like blockages in the heart leading to a heart attack, or in the brain causing a stroke. These enemies often attack silently, and these leg signs are some of the very first scouts we can identify. The most important message I want to share with you through today's video is not to cause worry, but to inspire proactivity and awareness in taking care of our own health. Age might bring natural changes to our bodies, but it doesn't mean we have to passively accept all health problems. By listening to our bodies, by recognizing early warning signs, no matter how small they seem, we are giving ourselves the chance to intervene in time, to prevent things from getting worse. If you notice that you have one or more of the signs we've discussed, please don't hesitate. The first and most important step is to see your doctor for a proper examination and specific advice. Doctors have accurate diagnostic methods to determine if your blood circulation is indeed having issues and what the cause might be. From there, they can suggest appropriate treatments and lifestyle changes to improve the situation. Sometimes, just small adjustments in diet, incorporating suitable physical activity, or using certain medications as prescribed can bring about significant improvements. Remember, prevention is always better than cure. And even if a condition has already developed, early detection and timely treatment always yield much better results. Don't let these silent signs in your legs become a late cry for help from an entire circulatory system in danger. I truly believe that at any age, we all deserve to live healthily, happily, and independently. And taking care of our legs, listening to the signals they send us, is a vital part of that comprehensive health journey. Think of your legs as trusted companions, and let's give them the attention they deserve. Once again, I really hope the information in today's video has provided you with useful and practical knowledge. Health is our most precious asset, and proactively learning and taking care of ourselves is the best way to preserve that asset. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced similar signs in your legs? Or do you have any experiences or tips for taking care of your leg and circulatory health that you'd like to share with our community? Please don't hesitate to leave a comment below this video. Every share from you is valuable and can help many other people. And if you found this video helpful and informative, please support the channel by giving this video a thumbs up by clicking the like button. That will help the video reach more people who might also need this information. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell next to it so you don't miss out on future videos with useful health topics designed especially for us seniors. Once again, thank you so very much for spending your valuable time watching today's video. Always remember, taking care of your health starts with the smallest things, with listening to your own body. I wish you all abundant health, a sharp mind, and steady, confident steps on all of life's paths. Goodbye for now, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.